All right, welcome guys. Happy Monday. Hope you guys are having a good day so far. We got 8 NBA games to talk about, a pretty good slate, I think. So if you guys are new to the channel, how this works is we'll take a look at what we know so far, review the Vegas odds, and then I'll go team by team, talk about the players I have some interest in, talk cash games, GPPs, and then get to questions at the end. So let's start off with what we know so far. Again, unfortunate news there, LaMelo Ball fractured wrist, so he's expected to miss the rest of the season. That does, again, that sucks big time. Kyrie Irving expected to miss 3 games. He's on my best ball team. There goes, light $555 up on fire for me for that. Let's see. DeAndre Hunter, they said he will play, but we got news about an hour ago that he's now going to be game time decision, so we'll see. Victor Oladipo out. Augustine probable. John Wall not on the injury report. Kevin Porter Jr. questionable. We'll talk about the Rockets in a sec. Darius Garland questionable. SGA is in. Giannis out. Horford out again. Dort out. Let's see. Thompson out. Some of the stuff for Tuesday. Let's see. Yeah, game time decision for DeAndre Hunter. Big news here. Brogdon now questionable. Miles Turner now questionable. That game, if both those guys are out, could be very interesting to stack. We already have the Bucks that look good. But then, Sabonis, LeVert, McConnell, if those two are out, get a pretty big boost. And yeah, I think that's what we're at so far. Let's refresh, make sure we're up to date. I think we are. So let's take a look at these Vegas odds. Kings and Cavs, a 223.5 over under. The Kings are 4.5 point favorites. Thunder and T-Wolves, a 230 over under. The T-Wolves are 5 point favorites. Hornets and Spurs, a 224 over under. The Spurs are 5 point favorites. Celtics, Grizzlies, 219.5 over under. Memphis are 2 point favorites. Pacers and Bucks, a 231.5 over under. The Bucks are currently 5.5 point favorites. Raptors and Rockets, a 225 over under. The Raptors are 9 point favorites. Jazz, Bulls, 227.5 over under. Jazz, 8.5 point favorites. And the Hawks, Clippers, 225.5 over under. The Clippers are 6.5 point favorites. I think this game is going slept on right now. Hawks, Clippers. Clipper side looks really good, and I think people are overlooking a lot of them. So that game does look very intriguing to me. And I think a lot of guys will come in at low ownership. What's going on, man? What's up, Alex? How's it going? Daniel D, how's it going, man? I was not able to get a pack, unfortunately. All right, so let's talk about Sacramento and Cleveland first. On the Sacramento side, no priorities for me for a cash game setting. I don't think you get to anyone here. But there's 3 guys that I think are viable for GPPs. De'Aaron Fox, Rashawn Holmes, Tyrese Halliburton. De'Aaron Fox at the top should play mid-30s minutes. A guy that, again, can stuff the stat sheet. He's going to go overlooked in the slate. There's a lot better optimal spend-ups, in my opinion. But we've seen big games from Fox. So, again, fine for tournament. Same thing with Rashawn Holmes. He's been a little up and down, but 2 of the last 4 games, 50-plus fancy points. So, again, definitely not a cash game play. But, hey, the matchup's pretty solid, right? Jarrett Allen, not the best defender. So, and Holmes is going to come in at very low ownership because of that last game. Fine with it for tournaments. Hield and Barnes, I don't think I want to go there. Halliburton should play over 30 and is in play because of his price point. But that's it for the Kings. Let's move on to the Cavs. So Jarrett Allen, Colin Sexton at the top, both in play because of the matchup here. Love targeting players against his Kings team. Allen, 33, 32, 34 minutes last 3 games. I'm expecting low to mid-30s minutes from him. Again, a good point per minute guy. Should be able to lock down a double-double. We know the Kings have a bigger front court as well. So do kind of like Jarrett Allen. I would say more of a contrarian play, though. Colin Sexton, I think, will be decently popular on the slate. The positive with Colin Sexton, 2 things are massive minutes, 39 minutes in back-to-back games, plus, again, the great matchup. Negatives are, even though he is like a point guard, he's not going to do a ton of the peripheral, so at times he can be a little bit scoring dependent. But yeah, 29, 29, and 36 real-life points the last 3 games. I am perfectly fine getting to Sexton. I talked about this in my video. I don't think I've ever played Colin Sexton, but this is a slate I think I'm considering him. Darius Garland, keep an eye on that at 6.6. He's currently questionable. If he's out, curious to see what they do with the starting lineup. Nance seems priced about right. Okoro, he's had a couple good games, but he also has such a low floor that I don't think I want to go there on this slate. And then JaVale McGee is always in play as a punt option because he's a good point per minute guy, but really you need some Jarrett Allen foul trouble for him to really big game. Moving on to Oklahoma City and Minnesota. So on the Oklahoma City side, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think is a pretty good option here. So what we know is no Al Horford, no Baisley, no Lou Dort. So SGA is going to be the clear number 1 on offense. He should play mid-30s minutes in a close and competitive game. A guy can stuff the stat sheet. Again, good matchup here. So any shooting guard eligible. I do kind of like SGA there at the top. The front court with Roby and Moses Brown, I think both are in play. Moses Brown, as long as he stays out of foul trouble, should play 25 to 30 minutes. My concern is going up against Karl-Anthony Towns. That's just the risk, right? Now, Moses Brown's been a pretty solid point per minute guy, but that's my concern there. Isaiah Roby probably starts at the 4, probably plays over 30 minutes. I think it's a safer play. Other options, Maladon's a guy I don't really want to get to with SGA in. Poshesky at 4.9. I think starts and plays around 30 minutes, a fair value. Off the bench, we have guys like Ty Jerome, Kenneth Williams, I think both in play. Would have wished they were a little bit cheaper, but yeah, 4.8 and 4.6 respectively, I think makes them at least viable. All right, let's move on to Minnesota. So Minnesota, Karl-Anthony Towns at the top at 9.5 should be able to have his way against this front court of Isaiah Roby and Moses Brown. So do kind of like Cat as a spend up. There's not a lot to spend up for on the slate. Cat definitely one of the top guys. Anthony Edwards I do have interest in too, just because again he shot 4 of 18 last game and put up 36 fantasy points. He is just shooting the ball a ton. 24, 22, 31, 18 shot attempts. He's doing a little bit better job of stuff in the stat sheet. I love the matchup here, so I do like Anthony Edwards in the mid range. Fine with Ricky Rubio, but he's been a little bit more inconsistent at value. Not much there for Minnesota that I want to consider on the slate. Okay, so that's 2 games up, guys. 2 games down. Where are we at? 200 viewers, 35 likes. Thank you. Can we reach 100 likes before the end of the show? That'd be greatly appreciated. So if you guys do enjoy this content, hit that like button. Again, it helps me out a ton. All right, let's move on to Charlotte and San Antonio. So on the Charlotte side, I don't think we have the starting lineup news yet for no LaMelo Ball, but I'm assuming it's going to be Devontae Graham that gets inserted into the starting lineup. Let's see. Do we have any more news? Not yet. So assuming Devontae Graham starts, I think he's one of the better value plays of the slate. He's at 4.8. I'm assuming if he does start, probably plays close to 30 minutes. And again, at this price point, does make him a really good value. Gordon Hayward, Rozier do get a pretty big boost. I think I'd rather get to Gordon Hayward than Rozier. Probably plays mid-30s minutes. Going to LaMelo Ball out of the offense, gets just a massive usage boost. PJ a little bit too pricey for me. I know he's going to play more of the backup 5 with Cody Zeller out, but that's just I don't want to pay $7K for him. Yeah, Biyombo's in play for salary relief. Should play mid-20s minutes, but is not a good point per minute guy. And last guy I'll mention here is Malik Monk. I think he does play more off the bench. Minutes were trending down for him, but with no LaMelo Ball, it's a lot of minutes to go around, so I'm expecting around 20-ish minutes, maybe a little bit more from Malik Monk. I'm moving on to the San Antonio side. So on the Spurs side, I'd say there's no priorities. A few guys that are in play for GPPs. They're just such an up and down team. I was going to sneeze there, sorry. DeMar DeRozan's been the most consistent player at 8.5K. He's going to play, 35 to 40-ish minutes, a guy that is doing a lot more of the assists, 11, 7, 13 assists. It's a good matchup, so I'm perfectly fine getting DeMar. Would have wished he was a little bit cheaper, but still in play. Murray in play for tournaments, Keldon in play for tournaments, White in play for tournaments, Lonnie Walker in play for tournaments. But by now, again, if you've followed the Spurs for DFS, all those guys have been very, very up and down, so it's really hard to trust any of them. Like, one of those guys will have a good game, but on this 8-game slate, I don't know if I want to risk it. So I'm personally probably just going to avoid them. Moving on to Toronto and Houston. On the Toronto side, there's not any priorities for me. Lowry at 8.1, Van Fleet at 7.6, Siakam at 7.5, all look like decent options, but more secondary plays. Siakam, really weird, he only played 25 minutes that last game. Usually he's a guy that plays 35 plus. Again, Paul's a little bit too pricey for me. No thank you in Boucher. OG's priced about right. There's really just not much I love on Toronto. All secondary plays. On the Houston side, a little bit different here. So keep an eye on Kevin Porter Jr. news. If he is in fact out, then, John Wall. So what I'm tilted about, I talked about them in my video, is they said John Wall and Christian Wood were going to be on minutes limits last game. 35 and 36 minutes for both of them. That's not really a minutes limit, right? It is a back-to-back. John Wall has rarely played in back-to-back. So do they limit his minutes? I'm not sure. So this is one, I don't think I go there in cash games, but if I knew John Wall was going to play 35 minutes again, he would be one of my favorite plays in this range. So I like John Wall for tournaments. I'm just not convinced about his minutes. Kind of the same with Christian Wood, right? He's been injured. This is, I think, his first time playing in a back-to-back. Yeah, since he's returned. He played 36 minutes yesterday, so how many minutes do we get? I'm not sure, but he should be able to have his way against his front court. So Wall and Wood, I actually really like for tournaments. Let's see. Kevin Porter Jr. is currently questionable at 6.5K. If he plays, I think he's a decent contrarian play, but we'd probably rather get to John Wall. I guess they could start Wall and Porter Jr. together, but yeah, keep an eye on that news. value-wise, not much here with Wall and Gordon, or with Wall and Wood playing. All right. Oh no, I just got allergies, man. Just allergies. I have really bad allergies, to be honest. But all right, let's move on to the Pacers and the Bucks. So on the Pacers side, we have Domantas Sabonis at 9K. I think is a pretty good spend up if, in fact, Malcolm Brogdon and Miles Turner are out. I think Sabonis gets a massive usage boost and a guy that, again, going to play probably 35-plus minutes. So Sabonis would be a really, really good play at the top if, in fact, Brogdon and Turner are out. Turner, especially if Turner's out, like Sabonis is going to play way more at the 5, which really boosts his upside. So, I do like Sabonis a good amount if both of those guys are out, especially Miles Turner. And, if Brogdon is out, then TJ McConnell, I think, starts. Last time he started, he played like 46 minutes. 46 minutes the last time that Malcolm Brogdon was out. So keep an eye on that. I don't think he plays 46 minutes again, but McConnell would be a guy that I would have some interest in the mid-range if Brogdon is out. And then LeVert at 6.4 would get a pretty big usage boost with those two out the floor. So those three are the main guys I would have interest in if both Brogdon and Turner are out. Now, if both Brogdon and Turner are in, then I don't think there's any priorities for me on the Pacers. So just keep an eye on this with, again, Indiana and that news. All right, let's move on to Milwaukee, and this is a team you're definitely going to want some interest in. Giannis Antetokounmpo is out, so Middleton, Drew Holiday, I think look two of the better plays of the slate. They're going to be very popular, but this is where the offense is going to run through. Both get a massive, massive usage boost, so really like Middleton, really like Drew Holiday, and I think they're two of the better plays of the slate. I have interest in Dante DiVincenzo as well. He's been great recently, a guy that's doing a lot more of the peripheral stats, so those three look pretty good. And then Bobby Portis, assuming he starts, I think is one of the better value plays of the slate, 4.1K. Just a guy that whenever we can project him for more minutes or feel more safe about him getting more minutes, then it's like he's just a really good value. So keep an eye on that. If Bobby Portis starts, again, I really do like him. So those are the four guys I really have interest in. Brolo, no thanks. I don't think I'm going to get to PJ Tucker, Pat Connaughton. Really those four that I mentioned. All right, let's move on to Boston and Memphis. So on the Boston side, no Kemba Walker. I think Marcus Smart at 5.6K. Assuming he starts at point guard, I think he does, is a pretty safe play. I don't think he's going to be super popular on the slate, but he does get a pretty big boost playing the point, should play mid-30s minutes. So do kind of like Marcus Smart there in the mid-range. Tatum and Brown at the top. Brown has been playing a lot better recently. 50, 47, 45, and 50 fantasy points the last 4 games. So, Brown is viable. Again, Tatum has been not the best. So if you want to ride the hot streak, you can go to Jaylen Brown. Neither priorities, though, for me. As far as the bigs go, with no Tristan Thompson, Daniel Tice is in play for value. I think he goes a little bit overlooked, but did play 32 minutes the last game. If we get close to 30 minutes again from Daniel Tice, I think he's a little bit underpriced. Robert Williams at 6K just seems a little bit too pricey for me. Let's move on to Memphis. So Memphis is the team I'll probably be fully fading. Ja and JV for tournaments, fine, right? JV, a good point per minute guy. Ja should play close to 35 minutes, but there's just nothing I love here on Memphis. So, all right, we got 2 games left. Let's go ahead and refresh Fantasy Labs. Let's see. Garland expected to play, okay. All right, so on the Utah side, keep an eye on Rudy Gobert news. Rudy Gobert news is pretty big. I think they think he's going to play. If Rudy Gobert is out, then I think Derek Favors becomes one of probably the best value in the slate, assuming he starts. But I do think Gobert plays. Now, if Gobert plays, I think there's no priorities for me on the Utah Jazz side. The top 3 guys with Mitchell, Conley, and Gobert would all be pretty decent plays. But again, no one I'm going to go out of my way to play. On the Chicago side, not much here either. Like Levine, contrarian play. Santa Ramsey is probably my favorite play because of the price point at 404. Should play around 30 minutes, but are we going to need him in the slate? Probably not. Then final game, Atlanta and the Clippers. Kind of hinted that I think this game goes overlooked. But I do like this game for tournaments a good amount. Trae Young, one of those guys I think will be very low owned. Price below 9K. Does have a good amount of upside. No Pat Beverly on the court. We haven't really seen a lot from him recently, but we know Trae Young can go for 50 plus. So yeah, I do kind of like Trae Young for tournaments. Collins, Capella, both tournament viable as well. Might lean Capella because then Collins would be more popular of the two. I don't think either are going to be super popular, but Capella got an early foul trouble there against the Lakers, shot 4 of 16, and still put up 35 fantasy points. So if he gets closer to the 30-minute mark, I think he could definitely pay off that salary for GPPs. Gallinari, no thanks. Keep an eye on DeAndre Hunter. Again, he was listed as in and now game time decision. If he's out, I think Bogdan Bogdanovic becomes a decent value play. He's played 29 and 30 minutes the last couple of games. So yeah, keep an eye on DeAndre Hunter news. But Bogdan, I think, is a value guy we can look to if Hunter is out. Final game here, the Clippers. Or final side, the Clippers. So, yeah, I think this team's going overlooked. Really like the matchup here. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. It seems like the Clippers have been involved with a lot of blowouts recently, but they're running a really tight rotation without Ibaka, almost a 7-man rotation. So, like, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George should play 35-plus minutes in a great matchup. I do like both. Avicii Zubac should start the 5, should play over 30 minutes. I think he's a pretty decent play in the mid-range. Also, Marcus Morris. He's going to play over 30 minutes. I think he's a decent play in the mid-range. Lou Williams, fine for tournaments. And then final guy I mentioned, Nick Batum at 4.1. 29 and 28 minutes off the bench. Not a great point for a guy, but hey, I think you can use him for value, right? Because minutes alone. And that is basically it for the Clippers. So, let's see if we got any more news, and we'll get to some questions here. Got about 15 minutes to go for questions. All right. So 300 viewers, 75 likes. Appreciate that, guys. Thank you. I know March Madness is going on, so I appreciate everyone coming to check it out. Zubac or Moses Brown, it's a close one. I might lean Zubac because the only reason I will say that is I'm a little bit worried about Moses Brown getting in foul trouble against Karl-Anthony Towns. So, yeah, I think I might lean Zubac here. What do you think about Cat? Best play tonight? Not best play, but I think it's one of the better spin-ups. Like the matchup a lot against Brown or Roby. So, yeah, do like Cat. Sexton, Drew, Middleton, Portis, Moses Brown, Wall, Brown, Malik Monk. Thoughts? I think it's a good lineup. 8,800 for Trey's too damn cheap. SMH has a hard fade. I think he's a good tournament player. He's been a little bit up and down. Not someone I'll go to in cash games. Tatum or Kawhi? I think it's Kawhi for me. I think it's Kawhi. Graham Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Portis. Yeah, I think it's a good lineup. Moses Brown and Paul George or Graham and Cat. I'll go Graham and Cat. Yeah, I've been asked Moses Brown and Zubac actually a lot today. The only reason I lean Zubac is because I'm a little bit worried about foul trouble for Moses Brown against Karl-Anthony Towns. Small forward, 5,400 and under. Let's see. I think it's Marcus Morris. He's playing big minutes right now. Jared Allen or Hayward? I'll go Jared Allen. Thoughts on Pacers Buck stack? I like it, especially if Brogdon and Turner are out. Yeah. I'm just Rob Williams. I know he's a good point for a guy, and I do like playing him, but I'm not playing him at 6K. Wall or Drew? Drew right now, but if Wall plays similar minutes, I think he's a really good tournament play. Paul George or SGA? Ooh. That's really close. I think SGA will be more popular, so maybe SGA for a cash game, Paul George for tournaments. Portis or Lopez? Portis, assuming he starts. And assuming if Bobby Portis does not start, then he becomes a lot riskier. Still in play, but riskier. The Celtics guys, I'm fine with either. I think they're okay cash game plays. Van Fleet or Sexton, more viable for cash? It's probably Sexton because of the matchup. And the only reason is the Raptors guys are all up and down. When everyone plays with Van Fleet, Lowry, and Siakam, they've just been very inconsistent, those three. Halliburton or Marcus Morris? Or Halliburton or Marcus Smart? Ooh, that's a good one. I'll go Smart, assuming he starts at the point guard. Priority spend ups. Bucks. The Bucks guys. Sexton or John Wall? Maybe Sexton for cash, John Wall for tournaments. And the only reason I say John Wall for tournaments is because the minutes are a little bit up in the air back to back. Maybe he gets limited. Yeah, Monk's in play for value. I think he plays more with no LaMelo Ball, but how much more is in question? I would say maybe 20-ish minutes. Sexton, Drew, Middleton, Portis, Zubac, Graham, Marcus Morris, Cat. I think it's a good lineup. Sexton's still a good play. Yeah. I mean, my only concern with Sexton is he doesn't do a ton of the peripheral stats, but hey, it's a matchup against the Kings, fast pace. He's playing big minutes. Thoughts about Pirtle? I'm probably not going to go there in this one. Sexton or Drew for GPPs? It's still Drew for me. Capella, Moran, or Wall for cash? I don't know if I play any of those guys in cash. I think they're all tournament plays. Yeah, Sexton or Wall. I think Sexton's more the cash game play because minutes more secure there. But I do like Wall for tournaments. I think so. Oklahoma City, Minnesota. Yeah, I'm not really worried about the blowout. Wood or Portis? Christian Wood or Bobby Portis? Well, they're different prices. If Bobby Portis starts, I think he's probably the best value on the slate. But I do, again, Wall and Wood, if they play similar minutes for the Rockets and the game stays close, I think both could crush their salaries. Yeah, I'm a little bit, again, my concern with Moses Brown is foul trouble, right? Foul trouble against Karl Anthony Towns. He's fouled out in 2 of the last 4 games, and it's been foul trouble, I feel like, in 3 of the last 4 games, so be careful there. Biyombo or Favors if Gobert's out. Definitely Favors. Favors would be a lock if Gobert's out. Sabonis or Cat if those two are out. Which two? If Brogdon and Turner are out, might lean Sabonis then. Morris or Daniel Tice? Morris. Yeah, I'm taking a shot on John Wall. Smart, Holiday, Jaylen Brown, or LeVert if Brogdon is out. Smart, Holiday, Jaylen Brown, or LeVert. Like one of those 4, it's still Holiday, Drew Holiday. Brown, Cat, and Zubac. Different prices, right? So again, with Zubac versus Brown, I slightly lean Zubac just because I'm a little bit worried about Moses Brown foul trouble. That's the only reason, right? I'm just concerned Moses Brown gets in foul trouble against Cat. So slightly in with Zubac over Moses Brown. But yeah, Cat is a guy that if you have the salary, I like him a lot at the top. So again, Zubac over Brown slightly, and then if you have the salary to get Cat, get Cat. Graham, Sexton, Edwards, Sabonis, Goga. See, keep an eye. I don't think Goga starts, and if he doesn't start, I don't want to play him. Yep, answered Wall or Sexton. Again, Sexton for cash game setting because the minutes are more secure. If Wall plays similar minutes, though, kind of like him as a GPP pivot. Graham, Devontae Graham, Anthony Edwards, Bridges. I'm not really interested in Bridges. Everything else is fine, but yeah, assuming that is that Miles Bridges. I mean, he's fine, but like, I'm not really looking to play him. Sexton or Edwards is close, almost a toss-up for me. Both are playing big minutes. Both are shooting the ball a ton, and both are in good matchups. I would say it's a coin flip. Yeah, Wall or Holiday. Smart or McConnell if Brogdon is out. Probably McConnell. Probably lean McConnell if Brogdon's out. Holiday, LeVert, it's Holiday. Again, it's all the Bucks guys right now. Keep an eye on the Pacers news, though. Value center for tonight's slate. You have Biyombo down there at 3-4. It's not something that he doesn't have insane upside, but he's salary relief play that probably plays mid-20s minutes. I mean, you can take a shot on like JaVale McGee for tournaments. Favors, obviously, if there's no Gobert, that's a clear play. So keep an eye on that. And then Bobby Portis, assuming he starts. So those are really the value centers. Middleton or Drew, both. 6,300 for utility. If I had to pick one, though, of Middleton or Drew, lean Drew because he's cheaper. But yeah, I'm playing both. 6,300 for utility. Probably DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo and Tice or Drew and Portis. Morris or Tice. Yeah, it's close. I might lean Morris just because Tice, he played 32 minutes the last game, but previous 2 games it was like mid-20s minutes. I don't know. It's a close one there. 6,000 for utility if I already have Drew Holiday. Let's see. I'll say LeVert if there's no Brogdon. I think he gets a pretty big boost there. Yeah, Sexton or Edwards or cash. I think both are cashing and viable because minutes plus good matchup for both. I think it's a coin flip. I really think that's legit a coin flip for me. Sexton might be a little bit more popular. I like both. Hayward okay for cash. He's fine. He does get a boost in the LaMelo Ball. 9,000 for utility. Sabonis if both those Pacers, especially Miles Turner, are out, Sabonis. If not, then I think Kawhi Leonard's a good play that goes overlooked. Not a must, but yeah, McConnell will be a good play if there's no Brogdon. Bryn Forbes, no. Biyombo in play, yeah, in play for salary relief. TJ and Cat or Wood and Sexton. TJ and Cat if Brogdon's out. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Graham, Middleton, Portis, Moses Brown, Wall, Jaylen Brown, Zubac. I think it's a good lineup. Graham, Smart, Moses, Sabonis, Portis, Drew. Okay, that looks good as well. House or Porter? Which Porter? Who are Daniel House? I'm not really interested in Daniel House. If it's Otto Porter, I'm not really interested in Otto Porter. So I would say neither. Graham, Sexton, Middleton, Portis, Tice, SGA, Okoro, Cat. My only concern with Isaac Okoro is he's a low usage guy. I just don't like. He can have a couple, like he's shown a couple upside games, but also has a pretty low floor. 5,600 for utility. Let's see. Well, there's a few options here, right? So I think I would lean TJ McConnell if Brogdon's out and he starts. So yeah, McConnell will probably be the answer if Brogdon's out. If not, then you have Smart and Roby probably. Smart probably starts at the point guard. I think it's a safer play, and Roby will play some of the backup five, right, and probably plays a lot at the 4. So those two if there's no McConnell. Yeah, no one's gonna be on Holmes. I think Holmes is a good tournament play, right? He just had a floor game. People are box score watching, right? Like, look what happened with me with DeAndre Ayton last night. 2 slates ago, DeAndre Ayton was the chalk, and he was more expensive. Last night, after back-to-back games of getting in foul trouble, literally just getting in foul trouble, that's why he lost minutes. He was 1% owned. 1% of people played DeAndre Ayton at 6K against Markieff Morris and Montrezl Harrell. Right? The recency bias is real in DFS. People are going to look at Rashawn Holmes. They're going to see that 17 fantasy point game, and they're going to avoid him. He's got 50 plus fantasy point upside. It's there. So I do like Holmes for tournaments. 4,400 for utility. Let's see. Bobby Portis, assuming he starts. Are you off Bogdan if Hunter plays? Not completely off him, but I would say minutes are a little bit more in question then. Right, because he's played close to 30 in back-to-back games. If Hunter plays, though, how many minutes does he lose? I'm not sure. Graham, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Sabonis, Portis, Wall, Bogdan, and Hayward. Okay. I have no issues with that. Do you think, who do you think gets the boost? LaMelo out, Monk at extra run? Yeah, so Devontae Graham probably gets the biggest boost. Assuming he starts at point guard, I think we get around 30-ish minutes from him. And then Monk probably plays more, too. I think Monk probably plays over 20 minutes. So those two really, I think, get the big boost. Zubac and Tatum or Rozier and Sexton. Oh, that's close. I'll go with the first one. Osmo pretty high and Marcus Smart today. Yeah, I think he's a safe play. I think he's a safe play that is going to play 35-ish minutes, going to run the point. I do like Marcus Smart. Wall, Graham, Middleton, Portis, Towns, Sexton, Mikhailuk, and Nance GPP. Yeah, Svi will probably play, I don't know, low to mid-20s minutes. Super reliant in the scoring, so that's a risk there. Larry Nance, not really considering him at 6K, but hey, it's an up-tempo game. He's a guy who can stuff his stat sheet. I can see him paying off. So those two are definitely guys that I don't love, but they're going to be low-owned. Cash Game Center, 8,000 or below. Because Wood's at 8K, right? Yeah, so Wood's at 8K. That's so tough because the only concern with him is, does he play similar minutes? I think in this situation, you just take the shot on Wood and hope he plays 36 minutes again. If he does, then there's a good chance he can pay off that salary for sure. Moses starting, okay. GPPs, tournaments. So GPPs, yeah, tournaments that are top-heavy payout structure. So, like, if you're playing GPPs, you're willing to take more risks because you want to get in, like, the top 1%. Really, that's where, like, the main money is. So, Moses or Zubac, yeah, again, I've been asked that a lot. The only reason I lean Zubac is because foul trouble for Moses Brown. That's my only concern. I think Daniel Tice is a decent value. He played 32 minutes the last game. Probably expect around 25 to 30 from him. Is Wall a play? Yeah. If Wall plays similar minutes, I like him a lot. Now, the reason I'm a little bit worried is that it's a back-to-back, and we haven't really seen him play back-to-backs this year, so maybe they limit his minutes. That's my only concern there. Look at the box score from last Boston game. Kemba out. Yeah, Jalen's been playing really well. He has. Spend up at center, spend down. I think there's options both ways, right? You have Cat at the top. You got Christian Wood at the top. You got those other value centers mentioned. Sabonis, right? If Miles Turner's out. Wall, Levert, Middleton, Portis, Brown, Lowry, Mikhailuk, and Wood. A little bit contrarian, not in love with Lowry. Thoughts on Boucher? Just a GPP only play. I mean, how many? His minutes are just always so up and down. Where's he at? He's 6'1". I mean, I do love playing Boucher, but he only played 13 minutes the last game, so it's like hard to feel confident there, right? Rakash with the $5 super chat. Thank you, man. No comment, but I appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Middleton or on fire lately? It's Middleton. All right, guys. One more minute here, then to get out of here. Graham, Drew, Middleton, Portis, Moses Malone, Monk, Tatum, Trae Young. Okay, it's a little bit risky. Trae Young's going to go overlooked, but I do like his upside. Cash lineup: Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Smart, Brown, Portis, Tice, Drew, Middleton, and Graham. I'm fine with it. My only concern with Jaylen Brown is I think he's going to be a little bit over-owned after, backed or like 3 or 4 straight really big games. Does he continue to shoot that well? Are you taking Wall? I'm still unsure on his minutes restriction. I mean, it's whether or not you're willing to take the risk, right? So I'm willing to take risks. I'm playing him and hoping he gets similar minutes, but I know the risk, right? I think he could only play 28 minutes tonight, and if he does, I lose. So it's a high risk, high reward play. Something I avoid in cash games for sure. Graham, Middleton, Sexton, Sabonis, Portis. I think it's a good lineup. Drew, Graham, Middleton, Portis, Bismack, Wall. I also think that's a good lineup. Valanciunas or Allen. Thanks, DK. It's going to be Allen for me just because I'm more confident with his minutes, and I like the matchup a good amount. Kawhi, your favorite spend up. Not my favorite spend up, but I do like both Clippers stars. I think they both go overlooked. Brown or Collins. There it's Brown. Kawhi or Sabonis. Sabonis if there's no Miles Turner. If Miles Turner's in, then I might slightly lean Kawhi. Favorite value play, Bobby Portis, Svi and Middleton, or Monk and Anthony Edwards. Svi and Middleton. Graham, Sexton, Edwards, Portis, Zubac, Holiday, Middleton, Capella. Looks good. Capella's going to go overlooked. More of a tournament play, though. Jalen projected for 19% ownership currently. Okay. But decent ownership. Decent ownership on an 8-game slate. Let's check, see if I got any more news, and I'll get out of here. I appreciate you guys coming to check out the live stream. See, any more news? Cavs, you got their starters. Okay, that's what I expected to start for the Thunder. And we got King starters. All right, cool. We are good to go. Kobe White, no thanks. Boucher with Wood should play minutes. He should, but they never seem to want to give him minutes, so that's not something I feel super confident with. All right, guys, good luck to everyone. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. Enjoy the NBA games. Enjoy the tournament games, and I will see you back here for another stream tomorrow.